Alright, let's just jump straight into this because we've got a seriously fascinating explainer for you today. We're looking at a discovery that could, literally, revolutionize how we fight the climate crisis. When we think about clean energy, our minds usually go straight to those vast fields of solar panels or massive wind turbines, the stuff we build. But recently, there was a huge geological breakthrough that kind of flips that entire script on its head. Today, we're unpacking a phenomenal discovery that suggests the Earth itself might actually be doing the heavy lifting for us.
So here's the big question. What if the Earth manufactured its own clean energy? Just let that sink in for a second. It completely forces us to shift our perspective, right? Instead of just relying on man-made climate solutions, we're suddenly looking down, deep into the Earth's crust, looking at our planet's hidden natural capabilities. Because it turns out, right beneath our feet, the Earth has been quietly running its very own zero-carbon power plants.
To really grasp this, consider the stark contrast between our past and our potential future. On one side, we have our traditional energy paradigm, fossil fuels. We all know the story there. You burn them, they release dense carbon emissions, and that drives climate change. But on the flip side, we have natural hydrogen. And the absolute beauty of hydrogen is that when you burn it, it produces exactly one byproduct: water. Literally, just water. That is exactly why it's widely considered the absolute green ideal. It's basically the holy grail of the energy transition.
So, you're probably wondering, where exactly is this natural miracle happening? Well, the answer takes us to the majestic Qinghai Tibet Plateau. Now, when you picture that region, you're probably imagining towering mountain ranges and these vast, sweeping landscapes. But the breakthrough we're looking at today, it didn't happen on a massive scale at all. Actually, it happened on a microscopic one. It's this incredible paradox. The key to a potential global energy shift was found hiding in something almost invisibly small, buried right beneath one of the largest geological formations on the planet.
The secret to this whole phenomenon was found locked inside a very specific mineral called olivine. Researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences, specifically a team led by Li Chuanchao and Wu Fuyarn, were examining this olivine deep within the crust, and inside this mineral, they discovered these micron-sized liquid crystals. Now, just to put that into perspective for a second, a micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. It's unfathomably small. But inside these incredibly tiny crystals, they found natural hydrogen, perfectly aligned and trapped.
Now, confirming this wasn't easy. It required some seriously advanced technology. Inside these micron-sized liquid crystals, there were these tiny, trapped bubbles of gas. By using incredibly high-precision analytical tools, the research team was actually able to peer right into these microscopic vaults. And what did they find hiding inside? Pure hydrogen and methane. They literally found the fuel of the future locked inside microscopic bubbles of ancient liquid. No way, right? It's just wild to think about.
Let's actually break down the science of how this works because it's fascinating. Think of it like the Earth's very own engine. First, water meets rock deep underground. But, not just any rock, and not just anywhere. Then, under the incredibly intense conditions beneath the plateau, this extreme chemical reaction triggers between the water and the rock. And the result? Natural hydrogen and methane are born. So the Earth is quite literally synthesizing clean energy down there.
Actually, Liu Dong, who's the lead author of this research in the Science Bulletin, put it brilliantly. He said the plateau might have several underground natural factories producing hydrogen. I just love that metaphor. It takes this highly abstract, complex geological process and turns it into something we can all easily visualize. We aren't just talking about finding a static, leftover puddle of fuel. We're potentially looking at active, ongoing clean energy manufacturing plants, running completely silently beneath the surface.
Okay, so let's zoom out from those microscopic olivine crystals for a minute and look at the bigger picture. This brings us to a phyolite. These are massive formations of rock located beneath the plateau. So while the hydrogen was discovered inside the tiny olivine minerals, those minerals themselves are housed inside these absolutely gigantic aphyolite rock formations. And because of this discovery, these massive underground aphyolite belts have instantly become the absolute primary target for future natural hydrogen exploration.
So, why is the Qinghai Tibet Plateau basically the perfect recipe for this? Well, first off, you have a really wide distribution of those massive ophiolite rocks. There's just a ton of the right material there. Second, this is a continuously changing, super dynamic geological environment. The tectonic plates in that region are active, and that movement creates the exact right pressure and fractures, which exposes more of that rock to water. Put it all together, and these factors create the absolute ideal geological conditions for a massive accumulation of natural hydrogen. But the implications here extend way beyond just one single plateau. This kind of naturally occurring geological hydrogen is capturing intense attention worldwide. And why is that? Because it represents a massive global shift. If we can successfully tap into this, we're talking about an energy source that is naturally occurring, meaning it could be remarkably cheap to extract compared to trying to synthesize it in labs. And as we talked about earlier, it is completely 100% zero carbon.
For China specifically, the big picture impact of this discovery is just immense. This research essentially creates a theoretical treasure map for clean energy exploration. By mapping out exactly where these ophiolite rocks are, they know exactly where to look next. This gives the nation crucial strategic alternatives, which directly strengthens their national energy security. Plus, tapping into this underground resource strongly promotes their transition toward green, environmentally friendly development, which obviously aligns perfectly with global climate goals.
And that brings us to a really crucial question I want to leave you with today. How will this treasure map of natural hydrogen change the global race for green energy? If the Earth is already manufacturing its own zero-carbon fuel, and we now hold the very beginnings of a map to go find it, the geoeconomics of energy are poised for a massive shift. It's definitely a fascinating prospect to consider as we look toward the future of power. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, keep your eyes on the ground beneath your feet. You never know what kind of natural factories are running right under us.